What's up? How's everybody doing? It's a Wednesday night. It's been a while since I've streamed on a Wednesday night, but that's totally cool. So, just gonna hang out. We're gonna talk toys. Me and Kato's Collection. So it's been a while in the making that he and I hang out, and yeah. So it'll be fun, and we're just gonna talk some toys and chat with the chat and see what's going on. So we got Chronically Online here. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Fire Talks is in the house, and Beta Ray Bob's here. It says, "Hope everyone's having a good week so far." Are you? I hope you are. And Brandon's here. What's up, Santa Brandon? Lex Lewis is in the house. Oh, it jumped. Lex Lewis is here. M. Vargo, what's up, my dude? And Phil, Treasures from Triggers, all the way from Japan. Thanks for being here, Phil. TJC's here from the UK, and Payne's Toy Samples. Hey, what's up? Good to see you guys. Beat that like it broke your toys. I guess like button. Yeah, that would be cool. And without further ado, here is my buddy, Kato's Collections. Where'd you go? There you are.
Right here.
What's up?
I wasn't taking any chances. I might show up naked. Had to make sure I'm naked from the waist down.
That's okay.
I'll keep both hands visible. So no shenanigans. Already with the goat. Already hitting me with the goat. What's up, everybody? I want to know about Chronically Online's Weena. He told me to ask. It's in the chat. I have to do what the chat says. Ask about my Weena. So
where's that?
That's the first thing he popped up with Chronically Online. Ask me about my Weena.
No. Have you seen my baseball? No, we're not doing that.
Have you seen my wiener? What's up, everybody?
Chronicle's a funny dude. Like he's witty. He's quick.
I hear you. What's up, man?
Nothing.
Long time no see. Yeah, we should have done this a long time ago. Well, I'll have to reciprocate and have you on my channel sometime as well. I know I saw you at Joe Fest, and I was like, oh, that's Chad. I can't talk to him. He's famous. He's too famous.
No, that's dumb. Yeah, that's dumb. Yeah. Okay, so before we talk about Joe Fest, PowerCon's kind of fresh for you. How was that?
It was awesome, man. It was my first time going. Thank you to Spiro and Animal Wars of the Kingdom for inviting me to go. I got to help them out at the booth. I thought it was going to be just a chill time to hang out and, with some folks and maybe get some toys, but we were busy as hell, and that's a good thing. It was a good time. Everybody there seemed busy. All the booths that I was around seemed to do well. It was good. I hope to go back again. That was a fun, probably my favorite con, right alongside Joe Fest and Galaxy Con in Raleigh. Like those three are like those are the favorites.
Speaking of Animal Warriors of the Kingdom and all that stuff, this schmuck's here. What's up, dude?
Look at that dude.
Look at that
Jeremy
guy.
J.
That freaking dude. What's up, brother? Good to see you. And all the way from the UK, George Aiken is here. The guy who has a magical wardrobe to the land of Palatoy's toys. So very glad he's here. Pericles is here too. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. So cool. Yeah. So we got some people funneling in. It's a early Wednesday night, and Jeremy and Ryan are doing 3POA Loose Book Complete after this. So we'll
they got they're doing.
We'll beat it up and we'll get out.
That's going to be a good time. I like the 3POA. Those guys are all right. I got to see Ryan at PowerCon. Always fun seeing him. Yeah. Bobby Fowler, Articulated Ninja. They were all there. It was good. Good people.
Bear Bear, thanks for being here. Yeah. So, Ryan's a rad dude. He's a super awesome, real chill. Like he's very genuine. He's a genuine guy.
Yeah. Yep. Good dude.
So I was gonna go to PowerCon. At first I wasn't, and then I was kicking it around, and the ma'am, aka my wife, was like, "Yeah, just go. Like, just go. I was like, "Okay, I'll go. I'll put in leave." Leave didn't get approved. Didn't go. But like,
that sucks,
I was talking with Ryan about it, and Ryan was like, "Yeah, man, you can come hang out." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I was talking with I don't know if you saw them there, but it's Simple Tricks and Nonsense. Johnny Havoc
No.
and Newt. He was
Mhm.
as Mumra and she was Chitara. Did you see them walking around?
No, I didn't. But
Oh,
again,
man.
I was stuck at the booth
Sure.
so long, I didn't get to walk around that much. And
Yeah.
I was surprised at how much cosplay I didn't see. And then I look at the PowerCon group on Facebook. I'm like, where the hell were all these people at? I didn't see any of you.
Yeah.
So
You must have
yeah,
had good
I
blinders on.
didn't get to see a lot of that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good time.
Yo, Pendragon, since you can never have enough Chads.
Another Chad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another Chad. My best buddy is a Chad.
Hell yeah. Everybody needs a Chad in their life. At least one. You
agree.
need at least one Chad in your life. So.
He's I've never met a Chad I didn't like.
See, everybody says that we're like super extra D bags, but I like Chads. Chads are good people. So anyway, yeah. So I talked with Ryan, and Ryan was like, "Oh man, you can come hang out." And then I was talking with Johnny and Newt, and Johnny was like, "Dude, you can stay in our room." Then I was talking with Rob McCallum, and he's there at PowerCon. You know, he's like a filmmaker, director, all that stuff, and he's doing all of his shows and his 95 projects. And Rob's like, "Oh yeah, come hang out with us. You hang out with me and Tater, and we'll film you, and we'll do this, that, and the other thing." And I had all this stuff lined up, and then none of it happened.
Yeah, that sucks, man. It would have
Ted
been cool.
and Black Knight, right? The whole Hella Dope crew. Like,
yeah, I saw, met them, met the Hella Dope guys, met a lot of other. I got to see. I mean, there were some folks there that I didn't care about seeing, but there was, I got to hang out and see Ace from Ramen Toy. Of course, Bobby Val and Ryan, got to see them again. Got to see, some really like some new folks, new toys, which I think we're probably going to talk about in a little bit. But yeah, it was neat seeing. I got to shake hands with Shartimus and D Amazing, the folks that we watch, and whether we watch them continuously or used to watch or ever anything like that. All good people.
I've never seen Shartimus. I don't know who Fwoosh is.
Yeah, it's so like for
none
the
of that's my
longest
lane.
time.
You know what I mean? It's not my lane.
Yeah. For the longest time, I mean, way before I had a channel, but I still wanted to like keep in touch with what was going on with the toys.
Sure.
If you Google like something new coming out, there's a few names that are going to pop up, and they're the ones to watch. But yeah, especially now that I'm fairly in deep to the action figure stuff.
There you go.
Did you watch After Shard? Yes, I did. I did watch After Shark.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was neat. It was seeing folks that have been in the community for a while, and then, ignoring other folks. Hey, Larkin, Larkin gave you a super chat. This isn't my channel, Larkin. Go.
That's okay. That's okay. So Larkin's Lair sends a $5 super chat and says, "It's Kato."
Super good dude.
That's what she said.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's a good dude.
Good. We appreciate that
friend.
very much.
Anyway.
Here. What's up, dude? I would have liked to have chatted up Dan Larson a little bit. I think I would have liked to have chatted him up.
Oh yeah, I did not get the chance to speak to him, but yeah, he's that's fair. It's the exchange rate between channels. I got you.
That's directly aimed at you, right?
Yeah, it is. It's okay. Yeah. I would expect nothing less and nothing more.
Captain, what's up? Says these two guys. Awesome. Very, very cool.
Yeah. Hope we live up to that. But yeah, I didn't get the chance to speak to Dan Larson. There were a lot of folks I didn't get to see because, like I say, I was at the booth working, and it was busy. It was really busy for everyone. As far as I know, it was. I know that Ballad did well. Spiro did well. I mean, a lot of folks, especially the indie guys. I loved seeing all the new people, new to me especially.
Yeah, and so this is a common theme that I think we're just going to keep circling back around is indie lines, right? So PowerCon, there was a lot of those. You just said they were all slammed. Yeah. Joe Fest, right? What was there at Joe Fest? Indie lines.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So,
yeah,
right, I mean, obviously Valaverse is there. You've got Operation Recalls there. You've got Call Sign Longbow. You've got Strike Force Alpha, Fresh Monkey Fiction, Chicken Fried Toys, on and on and on and on and on and on. Chris from Grindhouse, right? Those Dread Troopers, he sold those like crazy. And one thing that I always keep pointing out is Hasbro has no presence at Joe Fest whatsoever. Nobody misses.
Yeah, and
Nobody
I'm okay
misses
with
them.
it. No.
Yeah.
No. They can have their own.
Yeah.
They can do their own thing.
With their fake hype influencers and screaming.
Yeah. They can keep that. I'll love walking around Joe Fest and seeing like Dime Novel. What is it? Dime Novel Legends? Is that
Dime Novel Legends.
Yeah, that's a fun line. Again, Vala, Spiro, all the like the.
Did you freeze? I freeze. Who froze? What happened?
I think you did. I don't know if I am or not. I don't know. They can tell us in chat if one of us froze, but on my end, you froze. If I'm not frozen, is it my show now? Do I get to play?
Is that me?
I don't know. I can never tell. Okay.
I saw you go out.
Brandon said Kato is good. All right. So
Kato's always good. I don't know. It's that weird monsoon season here. So like we'll get a storm come in and it just jacks everything up. So hopefully
I'm with you on that.
Hey,
look, it's CubeTube. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, we got a lot of people popping in. So Jimmy says for the Joe genre, and that's Joe genre.
Joe, I can't. You got one of them. You got a smooth.
Joe genre. Joe Fest is better. If you like all others, Motu, AWOC, Mythic Legions, PowerCon's probably better.
Yep. Well, yeah, and it's PowerCon's just so much bigger. I mean, they have so much more.
How many cans of Skull?
Zero cans of Skull. It's the accent, isn't it? The accent kind of makes it think I should have some Skull.
See, that's not nice. I was a Copenhagen Wintergreen long cut guy.
Yeah.
I guess that comes along with being combat arms in the army.
Yeah, that's
hand in hand.
It's a must.
Yeah,
but no cans.
I quit that shit. So.
Yeah. But I think walking around Joe Fest is fun. I mean, I'll be honest. I go to Joe Fest mainly for Vala and Spiro, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, and then to see some of the other lines that are coming up. But what's cool is seeing Kickstarter being used for the right reason. Like seeing all these indie companies doing these Kickstarters and getting out there, stuff like, pretty much everything we've mentioned was likely a Kickstarter at some point. But seeing those folks make it out to cons like Savage Crucible and Defenders of Eden and what's Cyberzoic.
Did you see Delta 17 at Joe Fest?
Yes, I saw them at Joe Fest. I love that stuff. They look great. Fresh Monkey Fiction. All those guys it's fun to see. Those guys doing well enough that they can come get a booth. Good Lord, Savage Crucible's booth at PowerCon. You'd never know that they were indie. I mean, they had a big enough. Yeah. They were everywhere. But it's fun. It's just really cool seeing indie companies come along and not only fill the gaps that some of these like the big 2 or big 3 mainline companies aren't doing, but to do it with a better quality and nowadays with not that much of a price difference.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the key.
Fire Talk says the indie lines are trying to steal his wallet.
Oh yeah. And I agree. Like, so I started the channel mostly just before Classified was coming out, maybe a year or so before Classified was a thing, but mostly doing Transformers, and slowly eked my way into third-party Transformers, which you could say that's an indie. That's definitely an indie toy line. Their numbers are typically
some of them are better.
Oh, some of them are way better.
Yeah,
but that's pretty much taken over my Transformers collection. And then when the prices of Joe stuff started going up, when the Classified stuff really started eking up in price, and Action Force started coming out, I started looking at other action figure lines that were more independent. And the higher the mainline prices went, the easier it was to get into that $40-$50 and up indie toy line price line. And then you start going, well, this not only is it just a little more expensive, it's better.
Yep.
In almost every way.
Mm-hmm. So Pendragon says we need to figure out how to fund these indie lines without the grind of Kickstarter. You know what, Pendragon? I'm going to do this for you, man. Watch the top right corner of the screen and shablam. There you go. I put your cadaver up there, buddy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do agree that Kickstarter can be a bit odd. Like messing around with Animal Wars of the Kingdom and a few other, like being on the other side of it, kind of behind the scenes a little bit on Animal Wars of the Kingdom. Kickstarter is not the easiest to deal with from the creators side of things.
No.
Which I mean, I've seen more and more creators have issue with like the end, what happens at the end, you know, shipping and what should I just do one thing and then make the rest of them available? It depends on the success of the line, I guess. But the biggest thing I've seen is when people offer multiple waves of something within a Kickstarter. That's a whole new shit show, because you order wave 1, 2, and 3. You got to wait on this before you can get that, or it's just bad. So there needs to be, I agree, like a better way to do that. I don't have that answer, but I just know that I agree with Pendragon.
And then Draws is here. What's up, Draws? And Jim Largo, all the way from Guatemala. Thanks for being here, Jim. And Will's here too. Good to see you, Will. I miss eating your potato chips, as weird as that sounds. Matt Rubin's here. Very cool. And there's CubeTube, like you were talking about. Thanks for being here. Glad I made it. We're glad you made it too.
I should actually say thank you to him, because it's kind of him that really brought us together in a way that we can't even talk about right now.
Yeah. And Curb Stomp's here too. Very cool. Very, very cool. Captain says need to talk with Bobby Vala. Called him a bald. What? Don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deluxe is here. Deluxe Baldwin is here. That's another good friend. He's on his way to BotCon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm working my way down through the chat. There was a lot of chat throws in there. Shit. Draw says, I heard this PowerCon had a great showcase of small and indie toy companies, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and that's pretty much what we're talking about.
And that's where I stayed, man. I did not, I should have, but I didn't go up toward like the retail store side stuff. I stayed back there with the common indie folk.
Yeah. Then Jerry Bear says Valaverse and Savage Crucible makes PowerCon a must go next year.
Yeah.
Vala had a good spread at PowerCon, and I mean, obviously you saw what they were rocking at Joe Fest, so they were killing it there too.
Yeah, they and his display, like the Spiro display and the Vala display, and of course the Mythic Legions display were three of the best. Like how they physically looked were three of the best at the show. They were really good.
Valaverse, right? They do a very good job of visual presentation. Really good.
Oh yeah. And this nailed it. Like they had a nice big diorama around the whole right side of their display that was a mixture of like custom parts that were made and some stuff that you could buy at Big Bad Toy Store, and just had this whole battlefield scene going on. It was done
they had
really
that at Joe Fest too. Yeah, they had some really good stuff going on, and you know, Ryan and Ninja sat there and set all that shit up, man.
Yeah, so good for them, because it was done. It was looked really good.
Got comments for you.
Oh yeah, thanks. That's a big son of a bitch back there too.
Yeah, that's
I'd get him, but I'm getting old and don't want to pick him up.
That's
what she said.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. Okay, so chat is going. Thank you guys so much. Robert's Infinite Realms is here. What's up, dude? Says hey guys, sorry to be late. I had to eat and get a weird case of the shakes. Okay. How are you guys? Kato, how you doing?
Doing well. You had to eat and to get a weird case of the shakes? That's an odd thing to have to want to get, but what do? You.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not something like diabetes, because then I'll just
Yeah.
feel bad.
Yeah, that's
And then
yeah, no
Larkin says, really excited for Delta 17. Yeah, absolutely. Curb says, Vala gets all of my cash, or a lot of my cash.
Yeah, no kidding. Every time, like I went in there and got so much stuff from him. Of course, you have anytime you go to these, you get a shopping list from your friends. So I had to get a whole bunch
Always.
of stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And you just get inundated. Hey, can you get me this? Hey, can you get me that? It's like, you can only get so many, man. Yeah.
That's right. I've got a core group of like 3 or 4 people that I'll get stuff for, the close ones. But yeah, it, just in case you're watching, if I don't really actually know you, like if I don't know you, and you send me a message on Facebook or something saying, "Can you get me?" I'm probably going to kindly decline or act like I didn't read it, because
Actually,
otherwise it would be a huge list of stuff to have to get. Anyway.
Yeah. And CubeTube says, I believe Delta 17 is the IP that's going to get me back into 3 3 3/4.
That's the danger zone there, because I don't do 3 3/4, but everything Delta 17 has looks so good. Yeah, I know. And that I know what's going to happen. Like if I do that, okay. So
Yep.
talking about just real quick, talking about 3 3/4. So Ace from Ramen Toys said that his dream gig would be Masters of the Universe, but in 3 3/4. That way he could do like a decently scaled Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, and all that. I was like, man, I would be so screwed, because I gave up on collecting Masters of the Universe. It was just too much stuff, right? And same way with TMNT. Something's got to give. But a 3 3/4 Masters of the Universe, Grayskull and stuff like that, it'd be over. It would be a bad day for me.
I think I'm lucky in the fact that I've always been a pretty focused collector. It's Joe and parallel Joe brands at that like 1/18 scale. And I don't like to say 3 3/4 because
Right.
you know, I mean, it's 1/18 scale. And it's a masterpiece Transformers because it fits into that universe, you know, going all the way back to the comics. So it is what it is. And the 4-inch scale, like custom mask and Megaforce stuff that I make, anything that I think fits into my Joe universe, it's in there. But I don't get into other IPs at all. I just don't. So I guess I'm lucky.
That's a smart man. I have a very addictive personality, so I get a lot of buyer's remorse. So
I still get buyer's remorse, man. I get it bad. I get it. Speaking of other lines, George is saying the Ghost is trying to drain him a bit. So I guess talking about that HasLab Ghost.
HasLab, yeah. HasLab, there's a divisive subject.
Yeah.
I can't say too much. I've backed more than one of those. So
I backed one. I'm sure you can figure out which one.
Yeah. Did you did the
Sky Striker?
Sky Striker, I'm sure, right?
Oh man. That thing is a fucking dumpster fire. Like as soon as you open it, it says open form side, and then you open it up and like you don't know what's there and what's missing. And most of my blisters were separated from the card backs, and some of the cards were beat up and scratched, like they skid them across the floor before they boxed them up. And
jeez,
the QC problems are just bad.
You do the hiss?
No, why would I?
After that, I don't know why you would.
But I don't do 1/12 scale. So why would I?
Oh, now, that's right.
If they did that hiss tank,
the hiss was
like Skeletron did their Robo Skull Mark II with it being interchangeable. Sure, I would have got several of them.
That is clever.
People are like, well, you can get it, and then you can customize the cockpit. I'm like, I'm not paying that much money for that freaking thing to start dremeling the shit out of it. I'm not going to do that. No,
that's a whole different issue.
And then Beta Ray says, it's great seeing all the different stuff the indie companies are doing. Reminds me of how the toy shelves used to look when I was a kid. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the way it felt at Joe Fest and PowerCon.
Yeah.
So it felt like I have some very, very vivid memories of this little. It was before Walmart came to my small town. Like it was a store called Roses. Very vivid
Roses.
memories of how that toy aisle looked, and it's an embarrassment now.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
Rachel's
Robo
here.
Skull.
Yeah.
I wish
What's
I
up,
would have got
Rachel? Good
Robo
to see
Skull.
you. Yeah. And then Rachel says, so many indies, so little cash, have to be selective. Yeah, that's right. None of us have just money to burn. Robo Skull got my money. Did you, Kato?
No, I can't. I knew nothing about that until my first Joe Fest. The
Keep
second, I
talking.
think I've done three. They was new to me the first time I saw it there, and I was like, oh, it's cool, but I don't know anything about it. I really wasn't doing many action figures at the time. Then I regretted it the second time I saw it, and it was complete and painted on the shelf at Joe Fest, and I was like, son of a
Last year.
bitch. Yeah, last
Yeah.
year, and I was like, golly. And then I saw, like you said, the interchangeable cockpit to do 6-inch,
And then
and
this
I
year
was
they
like,
had the box.
damn
Man,
it.
that box looks so
Yes.
good.
So I have my regrets, but I'm not saying that I won't end up with one. I just do regret not already getting in there early on that.
I gotta say, that thing is huge.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That
Larkin
Robo
says
Skull,
Robo
like,
Skull.
so I have an original Palatoy Robo Skull. Compared to the Palatoy one, I couldn't believe just the width and the height. Like it is massive.
It's massive.
It's big.
With all
I'm-
these like
I'm excited.
112-ish with all these 112-ish vehicles coming out, I don't even know what I think I'm getting the his tank. I backed I'm gonna get Vala's vehicle. That's happening. I'm not gonna not get that. I'm getting ramen
The
toys.
Vanguard?
Yeah, I'm getting the Vanguard. I'm getting I'm getting the orange ramen racer, the General Lee. So I don't know. I've got to come up. I told Larkin. So Larkin's layers in here. He 3D prints. He's got to come up with some interesting ways to mount these on the wall. So I want.
Speaking of which, I went to go get a box since we were talking about indie lines and how toy stores used to look when we were kids. It's applicable, and it's kind of dark in here. It doesn't look like it is, but it is. And I went to grab the box, and I almost knocked my Crusader shuttle off the wall because I hit it right on the little wing, and it kind of. No,
Didn't that make did your heart skip a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
That's
This is one of those lines. When we were kids, this was it was that cheap knockoff stuff. But I love getting this stuff now. And it fits in so well with like my Joe and Action Force stuff. I have it sitting next to my Q4 Sea Lion. It looks like it fits right in. I love it.
There's that military line that's 3 3/4 or 118 that you see in Target and Walmart some that normally has like I think they even had like a C-130
True Hero Sentinel 1.
Yeah.
That's it sitting right back there.
Yeah, I mean that's why I can't enter into 118 because I know
and
that I
then
would
like
end up.
it's basically Chapmay, but it just depends on where you get it, what it's branded as. But they also did a true landing craft, like a hovercraft, but it has the ramp that drops down, and I've got one sitting right here on the floor. Amazing, man. Amazing stuff.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing that just would ruin me.
So confused with Transformers. I'm glad I didn't go that route.
Yeah, it's a hard thing if you're not like a big fan. It's a hard thing to step into from the outside and go. If you just like transforming robots, it's like there's so many, and it's one brand that has spoiled collectors. So like for the longest time, Joe collectors didn't have anything. You either collected retro or nothing. There was a long time. I mean, you had a few little sprinklings of stuff over the years. Yeah. But Transformers, thanks to third-party companies, and not just that, but there's been almost a Transformers line since the mid-'80s. It's the whole time. But third-party has done so much. There's been so many options for Transformers fans that it creates monsters, and not many companies or toy brands have had that kind of love over the years. And I'm not saying it didn't exist, but I'm finding more of it now, and I think that's where Ace from Ramen Toys has found a great little niche.
Yes.
There's plenty of third-party companies out there. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But for folks that do it really well and do it right, I think Ace has got himself a little niche of filling in some fancy.
And then when we talk about indie creators, that's actually a really huge umbrella, because then you've got guys like Steve's Toys, and you've got like Gridiron, and all these other companies. Where there's so many, you're going to forget some as you're trying to rattle them off in your head. Where, say again?
That's you're right.
Yeah, and they make stuff that it helps your figure stand out. It makes your figure better, which we're gonna kind of touch on here in a minute. Vehicles where there wouldn't normally be vehicles, etc., etc. So there's that too. And George Aikens says, have an original Roboskull. Yes, you probably have 20 of them, George.
That's
he
Mr.
sent
Palatoy, right?
Yeah. He sent me some of the Palatoy figures, and he sent me a Mouton, like perfect condition Mouton. It's such a wacky figure, but I love him so much. Then Brandon R says, as a Canadian, it's funny to see how many Americans chew tobacco. Literally no Canadians chew. It's Merca. Yep. It's like the border goes, U.S. chew tobacco, Canadians smoke the wacky. No, Americans do that too, man. We
embrace it all. We embrace it all. It's all here.
And guns. Lots of guns.
Lots of guns.
Terry says, I will have to catch a replay. Work in the morning. Chad will hopefully be able to game this weekend. Hell yeah, dude. I'm down.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. See, wacky tobacco gets smoked down. Hey, we're not. It's legal if you're over 21, right? In a lot of places.
In most places, yeah.
Then Larkin says indie toys are making toys without any limitations of toy safety regulations, which is awesome. Yeah, to an extent.
Absolutely true. That's where the Transformer stuff really excels. It's like obviously there's no like small parts warning or sharp objects warnings on a lot of the third party stuff. So there's a lot less
drop tests. Like the big two, they have to do all these drop tests on their toys. Yeah,
for sure.
Totally.
I prefer the unsafety of the 80s. So give me all the stuff that can hurt me. What's up, Deluxe?
What's up? Says, thanks for having me. I love Transformers and Kato. Yes,
he's on his way to BotCon. That's a good dude.
Very cool. Right on. Larkin says, I hate for these collectors to go, or creators, I'm sorry, to go bankrupt over these. I can imagine it's hard to get a bank loan.
Yeah, that's where that Kickstarter comes in handy.
Oz, what's up, dude? Thanks for being here.
Loving all the comments. Thanks, people.
Yeah, a lot of good comments. I'm trying to keep track. Tiger of Kai, what is up, dude? Good to see you. And then Matt Rubin said, wow, that escalated. I guess talking about the...
Yeah, that escalated quickly. And guns.
And guns, yeah. It really jumped up a notch, yeah.
Yeah, we took it up.
Yeah, and there he said, flying out to BotCon.
We can have a whole conversation on all those subjects.
Yeah. And then Draw says, I have always liked Boss Fight Studios for their creativity and their sword and sorcery toy lines.
Yeah, Boss Fight's great. That's they have. So a lot of these I'm finding out about as I start into the thing. So what you guys have known about for years, I'm fairly new to.
Yes, Oz, definitely agree. Joe Fest too. Even though it's a lot of Joe stuff, it's the indie lines that are there representing that, keeping the flame alive of the 118 stuff. They just kill it. They just walk all over Hasbro. Here's we kind of touched on this. We can come back around to it. So thoughts on the new Valvish vehicle, the Vanguard. You and I were both at Joe Fest. At Joe Fest was where he said the price point's going to fall between this and this, but it won't be more and it won't be less. At PowerCon, he actually dropped the price. What do you say, $179.99?
I think it was 185, 184.99 is what it was, which, I mean, I think that's super fair. Anyone who's seen this thing in person
It's
will understand
it's
that
huge.
is fair. Like the amount, like a 10 personnel can go in there. It's a 10-person carrier. It's a huge vehicle. It doesn't look like something you'd see. I mean, it looks like what you hope HasLab stuff looks like. It's, and hear me when I say that. I'm
Yeah.
not saying one is better. I'm not saying HasLab is better. I'm saying when you put your money into HasLab, you hope that when the product comes out, it looks as good as the Vanguard does. So
It doesn't
the
have
price is
shitty
right.
Sentinel knees.
Yep.
And fall over.
Yeah, the price is right. Like, I haven't picked it up and held a finished product yet, but from everything I've seen behind the counter, it absolutely looks worth it. What I'm more surprised at is that Gray won the vote. Like the color vote.
Did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that. Yeah, great. So it seems Gray won the vote. I voted for Desert Sand, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
where I
that's
wanted to go.
kind of the
I thought
world we've been
Black
living
would
in.
win. Yeah, I thought Black would win, but nope. He said apparently Gray won. I think it's because people are going to paint it themselves and they want a gray base coat. That's what I think.
Makes sense. But
Yeah,
you know, if it gets people buying them, that's all that matters. What
Nah.
I couldn't imagine, or what I couldn't fathom, was that why were people complaining about that price? I mean, I know that collectors will complain about anything. I mean, I'm not one to talk. I go sit out in my car and I scream. But
what were they complaining? I didn't see it. Yeah.
people are bitching about that price.
Well, it's right in the wheelhouse that he promised, right? He said
Yep.
between 179. I think at Joe Fest he said between 175 and 200. You don't get much more between 175 and 200 than 185. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
he
I don't
kept he kept what he was going for. So I don't think it should have been a surprise.
If you give people something, they'll bitch about it.
Oh man, it's 100% accurate.
And then Jim's asking, how do you guys feel about the upcoming authority figure tabletop game for action figures? I think it's freaking brilliant. Are you tracking that?
It's brilliant. Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I think the Animal Wars of the Kingdom one suffered a bit. I don't know if I think I can say this because Jason was telling people this.
Yeah.
The minimum order quantity didn't quite get made or matched, so it's it's in limbo right now. But I mean, I've always loved the idea of it. As soon as Jeremy first learned anything about it, I think it's brilliant.
Here's a question for you from our buddy Matt Rubin.
Prime. It is not. It's from Lewin Resources. It's a really oversized version of MPO1. It's not customized. It came like that. But that's the Captain America version of their MPP10.
I took my MP10 and I put frickin' Joe stickers all over him.
I don't even think I still have the picture, but I wanted to do that. I took a picture of Snake Eyes on his shoulder, like the issue, the G.I. Joe Transformers issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it fits pretty good. I mean, especially in vehicle mode, is basically 112 for like 112 figures kind of can stand up beside it and make it make sense.
That's cool. Yeah, it's I'm not going to say it because then I'll have to go to the sound clip. I'll have to do it again. Hi. I don't.
Oh, I think someone told him hi. Oh, Patriot.
Okay. Hi. Oh, whatever. We'll take it. And then Draws points out Ramen is very transparent in sharing their creative process and projects I have learned about from Ace on the business side. Very cool.
Yeah. But he's really transparent. Sometimes to a detriment because he listens to people almost too much.
Yeah.
When like it's not a dig at him. It's just that he pays attention to what the fans say and will make fairly dramatic changes to a model because a few people point something out. So, I mean, one of the reasons the Great White and the Gullwing were delayed a bit is because folks were saying certain things, and he went back to the drawing board and made changes. So you can't fault him for that.
Oh, I wish they were in 1/18 scale.
Oh, the Gullwing is so good, man.
I know, but I wish it was in. I wish it was in.
It's nowhere near that. Yeah,
No.
that little.
I made a one of the things that I don't know. One of my big customs that I guess got me on a lot of people's radar was the mask rhino I made, and that
Oh
thing's
yeah,
friggin' huge. It's
that's
huge.
awesome.
That's what she said. Anyway,
I thankfully, thanks to some good friends, I have an original mask rhino, and it still holds up. They could make that thing right now, and it still
yeah,
holds.
yeah, absolutely. I just thanks Oz. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button. We appreciate it, and I hope that Hasbro never touches mask again, because I'm afraid they'll just make 1/12 scale figures and no vehicles, and it's a vehicle line.
I would only wish they would do it if they still had all the old molds and simply did reissues. Like that would be the only way I'd want them to do it. Otherwise, leave it to folks like Ace. But unfortunately, I mean, it's just going to be really bad quality.
Yeah, and they're going so far to 1/12 scale and all their IPs. I don't trust them to not do it. I don't trust them to do it right. I don't trust them to pay attention to details, and they're not going to vac metalize parts. And I think it would just be cheap.
Yeah, the folks that need to do it would be if it's going to go mainstream again, it would need to be someone like who is it that makes whoever makes the Fortnite 4-inch figures. That would be a good one.
Jazzwares.
Jazzwares. Yeah, I mean, I think
they do
could
the Halo
mask.
stuff too.
Yeah, they could do mask pretty well.
That 4-inch scale Halo Warthog is amazing. It's amazing.
They've done some good, but they're apparently better than the 6-inch stuff. The 6-inch stuff I've heard quite a few complaints about. Yes, Deluxe, you'll get to eat with me again too.
Chronically says, glad I don't do military figures. I'd be effed. I'll tell you what. I'm glad I don't do O-ring figures anymore. And there's a caveat to that at the end. It's not that I don't do O-ring figures, but I don't do 82 to 94 G.I. Joe O-ring figures because I have the modern versions of them right there. When I get a vehicle that has the driver or the pilot, I just put them in it and then they stay with the vehicle. But if I did buy and collect O-ring stuff, I would get crazy on all that Black Major, Red Laser, all those things. I'd get nuts on those. But.
Yeah, I could see that.
Larkin says 3 3/4 inch Masters of the Universe would be awesome.
Yeah, I could get in on that. It's just
I don't know if I can see it in my mind's eye. You know what I mean?
I know that, like I say, I know Ace is trying to license Masters of the Universe. He built had a He-Man and Skeletor made that he's taking to Mattel to try to get the license for. I think he should try to get the 3 3/4 license. It'd probably be easier.
Yeah.
Since they're already doing Masterverse.
Draw says, I love Chad's custom mask jackhammer with dagger. That looks badass. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
I like Chad's jackhammer too. That's
I'm gonna be too late.
That's what she said.
That's his stripper name. Y'all don't know it. Y'all don't know that. That's his stripper name on the weekends.
That is my stripper name. Jackhammer Chad.
The masked jackhammer.
What's up, Ted? We were talking about you earlier. You're fashionably late, but thanks for being here, buddy. Good to see you.
From Hella Dope.
Yep. Yeah. Very, very cool. Ted's an awesome dude. Another person that I'm sad I didn't get to see at PowerCon. Backwoods, what is up, dude? Says, what's up, Kato and gang? Awesome.
What's up?
Man, am I just like crazy far behind on this chat?
Oh man, you're so far behind. You're way back there.
Brandon, what's up, dude? Santa Brandon with the $10 Canadian super chat says, I just display my 1/12 Joes strategically. I hide the Python Patrol Jungle Joes in the plants. I hit Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow in the family photos. Nobody noticed things like that.
Actually,
he said they're not 1/12.
Actually,
they're 1/11. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that, Brandon. Really appreciate it. Yeah, man. The chat just jumps, and then I'm just kind of far behind.
Oh yeah,
Adds over 21. Yeah, dude. I can't wait for Chad to get through the rest of that conversation. What conversation?
Who knows? You're like I say, you're so far behind on the chat. There's no telling
But
what we're talking about at the time.
We're
know, yeah.
talking.
No,
I love
agree.
the chat, man, but it gets going and I love it.
I love seeing
Robert's Infinite Realm says Vala got me noticing independent companies. Then I had to buy classified to reinforce it. Ugh.
it.
Y'all see that moron buy a Buzz Lightyear Funko for $100,000?
I did not. But I don't make his money. He can spend it on whatever he wants. I think it's stupid, but it ain't. I'm not buying it.
Oh, snap. What's up, Drew? Good to see you, buddy. Patriot Prime Reviews is here. Very cool. Oh, look at. What's up, Ryan? We shamelessly plugged your and Jeremy's show, so they will be on.
I'd shamelessly plug Ryan any day. What's up, buddy? I heard that. I heard that too. That apparently, Brian Subpar 7 has the mask line coming up, which is yay. Doesn't matter. They may as well not make it. I'm not buying it from them.
What scale, Ryan? Did he say what scale?
I'm sure it's going to be ultimates. I'm sure they'll do ultimates, and it'll just be the figures, and then they'll make some massive $800 Thunderhawk. Anyway,
See, Rachel is a very awesome person, and I almost cracked a joke, and I'm going to not crack the joke. Rachel says, "Same here, Chad. I only do 4-inch."
Good night, folks.
But not 82 to 94, too old and too brittle. Yeah, right? Like,
I wouldn't do it. Listen, once I turn 82 or 94, I'm not doing any inches. It's over. It's done.
Oh, Cutthroat's here too. What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
What's up, Cutthroat?
I think O-ring construction is good for certain things, right? It's good for certain things, especially indie lines. It's really good for that. But then you look at Fresh Monkey Fiction, you look at Eagle Force, they're technically an indie line.
Mm-hmm.
Their 4-inch modern construction figures are fantastic. All the points
I'm not a fan of O-ring.
Yeah, great deco.
I'm not a fan of when they really did the O-ring stuff. I was more okay buying the retro carded non O-ring Joes.
Yeah. I think Hasbro deciding to call those figures retro when they had a retro Star Wars line, and as soon as every Joe person heard, oh, there's a retro Joe line coming out in Walmart, man, we're going to get O-ring figures, and then they just re-released the 50th anniversary figures. People got a little pissed, and I don't blame them, but I ate them up. The Cobra Officer and the Cobra Trooper, the last two lines on that Stalker, fantastic figures.
Yep.
And they have every single point of articulation that a 1/12 scale figure has.
Yeah, I actually left them carded. I've got the first couple waves, 2-3 waves carded on the wall. I like the way they looked. And if I were to do a 3 3/4, I'd rather them be that than the O-rings. Just me.
Yeah, I love them. I think they're great. The use of different plastics makes them a lot more user-friendly and more posable. And his tanks, I kind of went ape shit on those. That's why I have, 2 whole runs of just nothing but custom his tanks. Inu Tabby, what are we kidding about?
Probably about Super 7 getting masked.
Maybe.
He wouldn't be happy with that. It's another good friend of mine. It's a really, really good guy. He's another, you would get along with him really well. He's a big Joe fan.
Inu Tabby?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he comes on the streams with me and Jay. We chit chat. Which one is more anxiety giving? The losing horn or the cliff climbers yodeling? I don't know, man.
The cliff climber yodeling that's my safe space. I love that. Yeah, that brings me right back to being sick. I have a sick day from school at my grandma's house, hearing that yodeler.
I dig it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Pendragon.
Very cool.
I'm with you. Same
Yeah,
thing.
Bear 11 Charlie, what's up, dude? What's up, Chad? We'll catch the replay later. That's going to go on your NCOER. You failed. Woodman says Eagle Force Marauders boss fight for me. Yeah. I love
that we have these options now.
I love the Marauder. The Marauder Gunrunner business model is awesome because you could just go on their site and be like, oh, I need a set of hands. Boop, set of hands.
Yeah, that's really cool. There's a hard to find toys is good about that too. They normally like piece together like custom accessory parts with just hands, feet, heads, and stuff like that. Good, I like that. I love that the internet does allow us these kind of options now.
Yes, yes.
Like none of these would have succeeded without the internet ever. They would have never made it to a store.
James Williamson's here. What's up? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. And Jeff from Den of Geeks is here. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Very cool. So
you mentioned something earlier about unfinished figures or upgrades and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to chat about real quick was in a lot of pop culture spaces these days, and I don't just talk about adult collecting community, but they're guilty of it. We're guilty of it because I guess actually technically I fall under that, even though I don't collect a lot of modern shit. But you see it in movies, you see it in TV shows, especially with all this Disney Plus Star Wars stuff. Ahsoka just came out and people are already talking about that show like this. It's okay. It's okay, but there's always a but, right? And everything before the but is always bullshit, right? It's okay, but I can make it better. It's okay, but hopefully this show gets better. It's okay, but maybe the next movie will be better. And where do we fall? And I know this is kind of a broad topic, but where do we fall as adult collectors of, plastic dollies and shelfies, completing something versus upgrading it? You know what I mean? In that whole it's okay culture. Because you see a lot of people's posts and they say, oh, well, I got this figure and it was okay, but then I went and bought $30 worth of shit from Gridiron and I made him good.
Can you buy something for $30 from Gridiron?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think again, I can go back to the Transformer stuff. That's probably one of the guiltiest toy lines as far as that goes. Is Transformers. So like the Hasbro Transformers mainline stuff. I mean, some of the earliest third-party companies out there for Transformers were upgrade kits, things to make it more complete.
Yes.
And they're still a lot. I do videos on those. And I mean, you're buying a $25 to $30 to $50 to sometimes $60 action figure, and then there's a $30 to $40 upgrade kit to fill in holes in the arms and legs that are hollow.
Right.
That's really the thing that gets me is like the filling in the gaps and the holes. Like completing a figure is a shame. I don't think
filling in
that's
holes.
okay.
Somebody point that out. Sorry.
Yeah. The what makes sense to me is like upgrading, adding accessories to make it a more complete figure, like Gridiron adding like okay, so like with Classified, they're not going to do more realistic weapons. They're getting better at it, but they're not going to run the risk on making something really look like a Glock. They're not going to do that. Yeah. Valaverse will, Gridiron will. So having those like weapon upgrades to make it look a little better, that makes more sense to me than buying, and I do it. So this is me. I'll admit that I'm a hypocrite. So like buying a $30 Transformer and spending $25 to make it unhollow when, that leans me to buy now a $60 Legend scale figure that is fucking perfect in every way. And I don't have to do anything to upgrade it. It looks better. It plays better. It's made out of better stuff. And when I'm done, when I buy it, it's done. I think I mentioned it when we were talking earlier. Upgrade kits that are made in order to make a figure as it should have been out of the box are no different than downloadable content for video games in order to get a game that should have been complete as soon as you put it in the system.
Ooh, that's a good way to put that. What's up, Black Knight? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by.
Upgrade kits are DLC, and that's really all it is.
Yeah. But then you get some figures that are kind of like those games that are broken on release, and they're like, we'll patch it later. But with action figures, they never patch them, like that bullshit looking Matt Damon Falcon.
Oh, that or the I waited for one of the figures from the Joe line that I wanted the worst or the most was Zartan. The first release Zartan I've got, I mean, he may as well have a back brace and crutches back there. He can hardly stand up. The second release was better, but I mean, there's no excuse for that. I mean, like having like super flimsy, like really flimsy. Hey now, it's different. Fire Talks, you're not. You do. So Fire Talks does a lot of 3D print stuff. He does like weapon add-ons and things that make it better. I'm talking about like a nice huge gap in the arm that you have to plug in. Anyway, yeah.
And then Matt's like, no, don't start talking about unfinished games on release. Don't do it.
I think we're on the same page with that.
Yeah. But it's a really good analogy. It actually makes a lot of sense because you do, Star Wars Battlefront from EA, again, going back around to it's okay, but when the pandemic games from like 2005, 2007 were fantastic. And then you get these EA games and they're just like crap. And then they're like, oh yeah, but we'll patch it with a bunch of extra content. It's like,
yeah, I mean,
it sucks.
Especially the stuff that is written. I mean, we're going to get that's a rabbit hole, but the stuff that is coded in there to begin with, and you're just waiting to spend 99 cents to open it up. I think that's super lame. Now, if you're going to do expansions, I mean, expansions have been around since gaming started. That's a different ball game.
Totally different.
Yeah. Incomplete games that's a ripoff.
And Brandon says at 6-inch scale, upgrade kits are the way to do it. Too expensive for those who don't want everything. Look at RC cars, base models, tons of upgrades for every make and model. So I guess my point is, if you got to buy these figures in this current market sphere that we're in with action figures and their availability and their prices, right? You go to a Walmart, chances are 3 times out of 5, 4 times out of 5, you're not even going to find them. And then when you do find them and then you get them and you're like, yeah, it's okay, but so where's the draw in that? Like what?
Oh, I guess I know where I
get it. Like, why do people even buy them if they're incomplete or they're half-ass or they're cheap?
Well, for me personally, I can only speak for myself, but it's where the nostalgia outweighs the value. Like if I didn't have such a nostalgic draw to Joe's and Transformers, I wouldn't buy them. Like it's the nostalgia of what gets me there. Otherwise, that's why most of my not most, but a lot of my collection now is going to these new IPs, stuff that I really don't have a connection to.
Yep.
You've got, and I've said it a million times about Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I know it. I call me a shill for them if you want, but they make good stuff and they're good people. But like they somehow, and
we know what shilling looks like, dude.
And Valaverse did it too. I know it's called Action Force, but the 99.9% of the line doesn't really have a connection to the original Action Force. There's a couple of, Easter eggs in there sprinkled around, but they've managed to give us something that feels nostalgic that really isn't. So with AWOC, you get this Motu and Thundercats vibe and all these 80s tune vibes from it. With Action Force, you get this G.I. Joe vibe from it. So these lines, you've got Cyberzoic, that's really gonna, I don't like comparing it to Dino Riders because I think that sells them short, but it's got that Dino Riders feel to it.
Right.
Savage Crucible with their obviously fantasy, He-Man, Frazetta vibe going on. So they're hitting all these nostalgic buttons with new IPs, and that's drawing me in like crazy because I don't have to have that actual nostalgic. It's not Optimus Prime. Like, ooh, I want an Optimus Prime. Oh, that Optimus Prime's a turd. Yeah, but it's still Optimus Prime, and I want it.
And then I'm going to get the next one, right?
Yeah. So
And see, that's
yeah.
where.
So for me, that's where I that's my own hypocrisy coming in.
And see, I'm almost the opposite, and that's one thing that I appreciate about collectors and our community as a very broad spectrum is that I have no interest in 6-inch scale GI Joe. None. I think it's a fucking joke, right? I think it's a scam. It's just like we're just trying to get people's money, right? Restart your collection and all this stuff. And oh, look, here's a fucking Televiper. It's like, okay, what do I care? But I look at lines like Action Force. Now, I have a bunch of Action Force. I have a bunch of Palatoy Action Force, but the Action Force that's out now, it's its own story. It's completely different. You got New Colonia. You got guys like Condor and Karak and all this stuff. Somebody actually took the time to do something new, different. That's why I like it. And, you know, love him, hate him. I think he's awesome and hilarious, but Bobby doesn't give a shit. He's just like, this is my vision. This is what I'm going to do. People are going to like it or they're not. And you see the people that flock to that.
Yeah. And at the same time, he's got that kind of don't give a shit attitude, but at the same time, like he listens to the fans too. Like it's not like
I'm not saying he doesn't care about fans, because he absolutely does, because you can ask any of those guys who work that booth at PowerCon or at Joe Fest. They make sure that people don't come in and scalp these toys so they can give them to other people. And if they're out, I've seen them grab the display and sell them to people. Like it's all about customer service. What I'm saying,
at the same time, he doesn't put up with the bullshit.
No. And when Classified came out, they had a new aesthetic. It was future forward from now, whereas A Real American Hero was future forward from, 80, 81, when they first started designing A Real American Hero with Operation Blastoff. And then Classified was future forward from now, from what, 2019, 2020, when it started.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the backlash, and then they changed, and then they're like, look, I took this fucking skid mark figure from this size and I made him, 2.5 inches bigger. Don't you want him? And I'm like, no, because I have this stupid, shitty skid mark figure. It's just the way that I personally see it. And I don't crap on people for their opinion of liking Classified, but at the same time, it's like, I talk to people one-on-one and they're like, man, I wish they would make X, Y, or Z. And I'm like, it's not a world building line. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. Like, oh, I wish they would make a Mobat, or I wish they would make a Headquarters. And I'm like, you're fucking dreaming.
Yeah. See, I was on the other side of that because I didn't really have an interest in 3 3/4. So at the time, most of any action figures I had were 6-inch, and in my head, now this again was ignorance on my part in the beginning, because I didn't know other companies like Delta 17 were doing such awesome stuff and things like that. Not
to interrupt you, but I think this is cool too. I'm happy they made Classified because I missed out on the earlier ones. Totally cool. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. I was one of those that wanted in this. Okay, so when I collect Masterpiece or Legend Scale Transformers, what I want in my head, I want a figure that represents what I thought I was playing with as a kid. Right. And that's what I had. That's kind of how I pictured Classified. Like when I play with like you said, you have a Masterpiece Optimus Prime there. Like when I hold that and transform it, and when it's in my hand, that's how I thought my Optimus Prime figure looked in my head as a kid. It didn't. It was a brick. But that's what I wanted. Yeah. So to me, a 6-inch line is like should be like a Masterpiece type action figure,
And that's
not.
the crux of that. So you just bring up a good point. When Star Wars released Black Series originally started at the 1/18 scale and 4-inch, and then they upsized them to 6-inch. And that was like the elite collector version of Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker or whatever, give it a name. That's what that was supposed to be. When Classified first came out, I was like, oh, okay, well, it's going to be like G.I. Joe in the future with a different spin, and it's going to be like the elite version with a completely different aesthetic. But I'm going to pull up this starred comment because that's all it's about.
Oh, yeah,
Scale,
absolutely.
Right, because
100%.
the same size steel mold that'll make a 4-inch figure makes a 6-inch figure. You charge more per unit, make less, still make more profit. Everybody knows that's what it is. And
100%.
I'm real big on, I don't want to say transparency, but like just being honest. Like, if you like it, cool. You like it. There's no reason to justify it. I don't like it. I don't have to justify it. Guess what? I fucking hate it. Right. But these people who are like, well, I got big hands now and this figure doesn't fit. This is the only 1/18 scale Joe on my desk, right? Because my buddy Joe Ricondo gave him to me as he drove home with me from Joe Fest. But this figure doesn't fit in my big adult hands, so I need big adult action figures. That's a fucking lie.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
That's one of those things, like the people who I see a lot of people, and there's one dude specifically, and I never dime him out because I'm not that guy. He always takes like an action figure photo and he tags it all classified series, elite, blah, 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 G.I. Joe classified. Fuck yeah. It's a Marvel Legends buck with a bunch of Balaverse Action Force and gridiron shit on it. There is nothing classified on that figure. And I'm like, dude, why the fuck did you tag that classified?
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean? Close. I'm like, that's not classified. That's not classified at all, man. Like,
that's
you're just making shit up. Like, oh, hey, do you want to see my my American Hero Megaforce Delta Mark IV motorcycle? Do you want to see that? Because it's not. That's not what it is. I fucking 3D printed it and I painted it and I stuck it next to a dude, and I don't know. That's kind of shit that pisses me off.
On that note, with the hand size or whatever it is, what's funny is now I don't do very many masterpiece scale figures at all. Now I do legend scale figures, which basically are the equivalent of 3 3/4 inch Joes.
Yes.
So when I could see myself going to that mostly as a collector for room, honestly, because like 6-inch figures and masterpiece scale figures, they crowd things pretty quick. But yeah.
Skid mark. Yeah, I know.
Ironic code name.
He's
also iconic.
He's a talking point, and that's why I have him on the desk. And he was a gift from a buddy, and that's all that matters to me. Robert says there was a Hasbro rep who said that it was the money at San Diego Comic-Con 16. I think it was a big hubbub, but faded away.
Listen, I get it. No company. I own my own company.
Yeah,
I didn't start that company not to make money.
I
want to make money.
Sure, you got to make money.
But but there's a certain amount of, like you said, truth to that too. It's like there's nothing wrong with saying that.
Look, at the end of the day, I know firsthand when you and I were at Joe Fest. I know firsthand that the Joe team at Hasbro tried to come to Joe Fest this year. They tried to come last year. They tried even harder to come this year, and they got told by the people in the suits and ties who only read spreadsheets and don't know shit about toys or fun. They got told directly, like, you don't have an exclusive figure for it. How many people attend that con? We're not going to make any money. You can't go. And that was it. And as much as on one hand, I think it sucks because that is your target audience, right? That's your built-in G.I. Joe fan base. But on the other hand, I don't care because I don't think they were missed.
No, I don't think they were
all these awesome indie lines. I would rather sit there and talk with Chris from Grindhouse about his freaking Dread Trooper and how it's like such an homage to the Creator Cobra, but it's not at the same time, and it's something new and it's an upgrade, then go over and talk to fucking Lenny from the GI. What the? I don't care to talk to him.
Yeah.
Period.
I don't think I mean, and this I'll say this in
What's
general
up, Johnny?
about
Sorry. Go ahead.
almost all the mainline stuff, whether it's Transformers, Joe, even Masters of the Universe, Mattel, and any of that. I don't honestly think, and again, this is just me, I don't think they have a home at cons anymore. I just don't think
either.
so. I don't think, I agree with them. I don't think they'll make a single dime more if they go. Now, the only thing in the long run, generationally speaking, you could, if you found someone that would be as forward and honest as, say, Bobby Valla or Jason from Spiro or Rob from Savage Crucible, that could, put it this way, if Hasbro shows up right now, all that comes to my mind is that Steve Buscemi meme where he goes, "Hello,
What's up,
fellow children."
teens? Yeah.
That's the way it feels. It's like, "Hi, fellow collectors." That's the way it would feel like if they showed up.
Yeah.
Where you've got the smaller companies that actually fit there. I think this is their home, and Hasbro doesn't need it, and I think they know they don't need it.
Yeah, and one thing I will say though, I'm trying to word this a specific way. I know that there is some concern on that side of things that if their team came to Joe Fest, they would just get fucking crucified.
Oh yeah,
I don't think that's fair. I think that they would get a lot of positive response from people. I'm not saying it would be all positive, but I don't think that people are going to get out the pitchforks and go nuts on them either.
I think they would online. I don't think they would have the nuts to do it to their face. And I think online they yell and scream and say how trash their showing was. But for the most part, I mean, it's
there was a time once when I actually pursued trying to interview them. And then I found out what it's like to interview them and the rules and the pre-screened questions, and it cannot be live. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that.
Yeah, I did the same thing with what's his name? Mark. I think his name's Mark with the beard for Transformers, who seems like a really cool guy, honestly. But I reached out to him and he reached out to me and he was like, okay, but this is the loopholes I have to go through to do it. I can't just come on and talk. And I was like, fuck that. I don't want to deal with that. Like, I just don't care.
Dude, I had Kirk Bazigian on and we just talked. Like, he didn't even care what I was going to ask him.
Yeah, that's the way it was when Jason comes on. When we've all seen, and now, I mean, I haven't had Bobby on in a while. He has 3 POA, and I love watching that. So,
yeah.
I mean, he says what he says. It is what it is.
Did you see when I had Bobby on and he kept clicking that little clip for his headset the whole time, and I was like, oh my god, man. And I didn't notice in the moment, but when I rewatched it, it's just like he's just like clicking that thing. And then,
but you got folks like him and like Ace. Like, I'm having Ace on in a couple days, or actually, what is today? Is today Wednesday? Tomorrow.
Yes. Cool.
Like those folks, they just say what they say, and it is what it is. And I get it. They're not massive corporations yet. I hope nothing but the best for Bobby. I hope that one day he's not indie anymore. I hope he's in Target somewhere and he's able to live his dream and do whatever he wants. But
I want to see what happens with that movie, man, with that Action Force movie.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you know what? We're going to talk movies in a second, but real quick, Beta Ray Bob, it was good to see you at Joe Fest again, and says, getting to talk to creators like Chris, Ed, Steve, Troy, Carson, etc. is what makes Joe Fest great. Yeah, absolutely. I stood there with I'll get back to it. I want to touch on this. James is asking, what's my opinion of the 3 3/4-inch Joe line with 5 points of articulation? So you're talking about reaction, the Super 7 reaction figures. I just think they're reaction figures. I don't consider those GI Joe. I think reaction is a line with an aesthetic. It's blocky by design, so it fits the 5 POA, and that's for reaction people. but I think it's cool to a degree because Reaction gets so many IPs like Funko, where they broaden Reaction collectors' horizons to other IPs in the process.
Yeah, I like how random Reaction can be. Like how I do like that in the same way that, you know, my wife collected Funko for a while, in the same way that Funko did with making just random weird pop culture references for so long. I think they're going the way of Beanie Babies finally. But I don't collect Reaction because I think you're paying $25 for. I think in my mind, I don't think they're meant to be played with. I think they're meant to be collected and left on card because I
Yes,
think
because
you're
once you
also
take
paying.
them off the card, it completely changes the whole vibe.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. I think the artwork of the card is part of the draw for Reaction.
Yeah. I agree, and it's
That's
good.
just my opinion, but
That card stock is good and thick. It's thick.
It's thick, boy. It's thick.
It's thick, boy, with 3 C's. Pendragon says
Yeah,
this. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was done.
He
I
said,
was going to repeat
6-inch
myself.
figures are too hard to articulate. It's like lacing up boots with 3 fingers glued together. 4-inch just feels more natural and malleable. So you like manipulating 4.
Yeah, he's used to manipulating 4 inches.
You know what? As much as I like to make the phallic jokes and it's funny, haha, and that's part of what we do, right? Because they're toys, and we should have fun with it. I agree with this sentiment because I look at a 6-inch figure and I honestly think that anatomically they look like shit. I don't think that they look anatomically correct. A lot of them have that brutal chest cut. They flop over. Some things don't want to bend. It's like, oh, but it's got like this double hinge butterfly, but it has these.
Let me ask you this.
I don't like the hinge pins either. That's just me.
Sorry, my mic got muted in my back yet.
Aw. Wave, what's up, dude? Go ahead.
How often do you have? I don't have to do it that much because I live in a pretty hot climate. I mean, do you ever have to drop your 4-inch figure in boiling water to get it to move?
No,
I don't think so. I think that's a 6-inch and above problem. Yeah. Anyway, you have just to wait.
Yeah, and then Larkin said, he's talking about the Hasbro teams there. Go through their PR.
Yeah, he sent me a whole link of who to contact, and I'm like, never mind. I don't care as much as I'll let on. So,
yeah. Imagine getting the media muscle trying to interview a toy company. I've interviewed plenty of toy companies, just not Hasbro people, because
yeah.
I mean, they have some past Hasbro people who are pretty. I'm going to have Mark Weber, the honcho. I'm going to have Mark Weber on soon.
That'll be cool. Yeah, I think there's just so much like NDA and nonsense that you have to go through, stuff that they can't say, stuff that you can't ask. It's just not worth it.
Hey, remember we were talking about this backstage?
Jeez.
Snake Eyes movie is free to stream on Prime, but I can't bring myself. Don't.
That's the same thing I said.
Kato, have you seen this movie?
Nope.
Fucking
but
don't.
I haven't seen that movie in the same way that I flush before I look. Like, I don't need to see it. I don't need to. It's fine.
Look
I know
back.
what's it.
You gotta look
I know
back.
what it is. I know what it is. Just let it go.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it once because it's like a morbid curiosity, like, you know, oh, look, there's a train wreck. And at the same time, if I was going to talk about it, I had to watch it. So I got invited on the stream to discuss it, and I was like, I guess I'll watch it. But I'll
watch it eventually.
I will say this. My wife and I, you know, this was right after the whole pandemic thing was winding down, and you know, we were deployed all of 2020, so we missed all the crazy with the people fighting over toilet paper and shit. But we came back, we went and saw some movie in the theater, and as we were walking by the Snake Eyes, the teaser poster where he's standing backwards with the helmet, and I looked at it, and I was just like really taking it in, and I was like, they're gonna make that a motorcycle helmet. Watch, I freaking bet you. I bet you they're gonna make it end exactly what it is. Oh,
Yep.
spoiler alert. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, it's yeah. Do you know anything about that movie? Like you don't see the suit until the very last scene,
I've heard that. I've heard you don't see the suit until the end.
and he's still running his fucking mouth too.
Yeah, that's why I don't think I think he would make a better side character than a main movie. I get why you don't want to have a quiet character the entire movie. Understand that. But if you're going to do an origin story for Snake Eyes, I mean, the stories there, I'll never understand. If you're dipping into the nostalgia of making a movie, then at least pay homage to what you're dipping into the nostalgia of.
What's up, John? Good to see you, dude. Yes, and I totally agree with you. I was watching Hamburger Hill the other day. If you guys haven't seen Hamburger Hill, it is a fantastic Vietnam movie.
One of the best.
You gotta
Yeah,
watch
one
it.
of the best.
So it's good and it's powerful and it's sad and it's awesome all at the same time. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's totally one of the best. I think it's better than Platoon, 100%.
Oh, I agree. I
But
think
I was
Platoon's
watching
over. I like
Hamburger
Platoon,
Hill
but
the
I
other
think it's
day,
overrated.
and I was like, just in it, you know, when they're coming in on the helicopters, and I'm like, why wasn't this the beginning of the fucking Snake Eyes movie? You know, like,
Yep.
oh, and you Stalker and that. Oh, it would have been so good, but they're like, well,
I get. Listen, see how I don't like doing this on other people's channels very much, but
do it.
I don't honestly don't care. I don't understand what the issue was with what made Snake Eyes so good and make sense is the fact that he was a white guy outcast that wasn't just another
He's an
member
outsider.
of the Hirashikage. It made it good that he was the blonde hair, blue eyed guy from the outside that didn't belong there. There's so much story to that. And if you're going to have an
much as
origin
we
story,
in Western cultures don't like to be racially insensitive, I mean, let's be honest, in a lot of Eastern countries, they definitely are. Like if you
they
not
don't
into
care.
that part of the world, like especially
Yeah,
China,
okay.
like you do anything politically correct as far as China's concerned, and they're done with it, unless you know it's
Yeah.
communist correct. But yeah, like a lot of
But, like,
Asian cultures do not trust the round eye types. Yeah, it's a known thing.
there's no way they couldn't have had, like, if they're going to do a Snake Eyes origins, right? I mean, and modernize it. I mean, you've got Afghanistan you can
Yeah,
pull from, all
100%.
this. It doesn't have to be Vietnam. You could pull, like I say, you could pull a Black Hawk Down or a.
You could have made it
all-
like Syria, or you could have made it one of those nondescript fake GI Joe countries that they always talk about in the comics.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Carbomia from Transformers. That was a real. That was real. They did
I
that.
know. Yeah, that's good. That's a deep cut.
Yeah, but anyway, I just think it was a cheap way to do it, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, it's bad. It's almost as bad as the cheesy end to Rise of the Beast, but whatever.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that in about 2 seconds. So Larkin Solaire says Snake Eyes is a cool action movie, horrible GI Joe movie. You know, for the longest time, I've jokingly said if you put Mike Dudikoff in there in a cameo, just like in the background somewhere, you could have just called it an American Ninja in Tokyo, and it probably would have made more money.
It actually, from what I've seen, the clips of it I've seen, it reminded me of that '90s run of everything had to be a ninja movie. You know, Jim Kata, or what was it? Was it called Jim Kata?
Yeah, Jim Kata. But we're talking after the Sho Kosugi stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're going into the '80s white guy ninja movies, that American Ninja and all that kind of stuff. It feels like
Phil
that.
would know. Phil would know.
Listen, I've been a lot of places, and they are definitely, everywhere I've been is more judgmental than we're allowed to be. I can promise you that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. George Aiken says Snake Eyes is a Fast and Furious offshoot. As soon as I saw that trailer and it was cut like Fast and Furious meets like Michael Bay, Bayformers, Michael Bay explosions, I was like, nope, absolutely not. I fucking knew it. See, American Ninja would have been a better title. Yeah, American Ninja in Tokyo. So speaking of which, you brought it up. Let's talk about that Transformers Rise of the Beast. It's not a stinger. It's not an end credit scene because I got corrected. Actually, it's before the credits. Thank you, Chad. What did you think of the G.I. Joe setup?
It's not even okay. I just didn't care. Like, so the I don't know if it's even like urban legend material, but the going, and it maybe it's even official. Originally, the first and second Transformers movies were supposed to be Joe related. So all the army characters that were in there were supposed to be like Roadblock and
Yes.
Duke and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They just
team.
renamed everything.
Right.
So it took them a long time to do it. Honestly, I just thought the movie wasn't good enough to make me care if they do a G.I. Joe. Hey, yeah, he knows I love it. I thought it was the best. It was, hey, so it was okay. It's exactly what we were talking about before. It was barely
okay. It's okay. Maybe the next one will be better. But I will say when the Maximals transformed into robot mode, which spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, but if you haven't, it's your fault.
Finally?
Yeah, when they finally transformed into robot mode in that fucking money shot, they looked perfect.
They looked perfect. Like, Primal looked great. One of my favorite kits, it's a model kit, but I love the look of Primal, like when in his robot mode. I thought he looked good. But like, again, they spend 90% of the movie in their alt modes, and I'm just like,
in their animal mode.
Yeah, it was.
So
anyhow,
Robert's Infinite Realm says, I'm just tired of shoehorn Joe and Transformer crossovers. Yes. However, pause for dramatic effect. If you can't get G.I. Joe right in 3 movies, Rise of Cobra, it's okay, even though it really wasn't, right? Because fucking Lorenzo Di Bonaventura. Retaliation was kind of a step in the right direction. It's okay, because at least they did kind of a Sunbow thing where Storm Shadow's back. He's just there. Nobody asks, like, hey, man, weren't you dead? It's just, he's there. So I was like, That's kind of a good throwback to the comics. And they did have a couple of things where, like, the Temple in the Mountains was supposed to be, John Cho, the director, was supposed to be like his homage to Silent Interlude. Okay, sure. I can see it as an homage, so on and so forth. And I'm going to keep going on my rant, but JLS Comics is here. What is up, brother? Good to see you.
What's up, buddy?
But everything was like, it's okay, but it's okay, but it's okay, but. And then at least Retaliation made more money than Rise of Cobra. They were going in the right direction. And then when they were supposed to make G.I. Joe 3, they just shit canned it. Then comes Snake Eyes, completely bombs. It only made like $50 million off an $80 million budget. And that's without
twice as much as it should have.
Yeah, that's without the prints and advertising costs, which is generally like another 50% of your budget. So about $120 million to make it. And so Snake Eyes ate shit and died. Thank you again, Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, for that. Which they need to get that dude away from G.I. Joe. He already cost us Hooded Cobra Commander. And then they come out with Transformers Rise of the Beast, and then we all hear about this scene, and then I actually bothered watching that movie on premium video on demand with the ma'am, and we were going to do a review, but for some reason the audio got jacked up, and I had to just can it. But if you can't get G.I. Joe right in 3 standalone movies, how is the audience supposed to trust that you're going to get it right when you water it down, slim it down, and just kind of drop it into somebody else's movie?
Yeah, the only way that works. So the reason the MCU early on worked, and I stress that
early,
is
when you're talking like Jon Favreau, like Iron Man 2.
Yep. Is they spent time getting to know this, and this with a big picture in the long run, and then finally pulling together an Avengers movie. If you were to do that with Joe and do it well, but they're not going to. I mean, they're just not going to.
Are you talking about me, Jim?
They're not going to do it seriously enough.
No.
Ranty McRanterson.
But, Chris Hemsworth, the Extraction movies, you got Tom Cruise and all the Mission Impossible movies. They just kept getting better and better and better. Those are Paramount films. Extraction. So Tom
is a better Joe movie than anything that's been out.
Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible movies are Paramount. They keep getting better up until this this one that just came out, and I think a lot of it was timing, they were making well over $1 billion each. You got the Extraction movies. That's the Russo brothers. And I've been saying forever, you back a dump truck of money up to the Russos, and you have some comics, maybe like the first 20 issues, dump it out. So they have a swimming pool full of money and comics and say, just write it.
Here's what I hope. And I don't know. I mean, it's possible it could be a stinker too. I don't believe it will, but it's possible it could. I think, and again, I'll shill it out for a second. If the Action Force movie gets butts in seats in a way that Snake Eyes couldn't, I mean, yeah. Now it's going to be one thing. There's going to be plenty of fans that are just going to watch it, but
sure.
Like there's going to be a real need.
Joe Q public.
Yeah. There's going to be a real need to bring in people who don't give a flying shit about Joe or Action Force.
Look at Michael.
Kong Skull Island was it? Yeah, it was.
Samuel L. Jackson, he was no shit in that movie.
That was a good movie.
Did you see Expendables 4 is coming out? That's going to make more money than any of those G.I. Joe movies did. I love the Expendables movies because
it doesn't help that those movies look like they were made as fan films. Like really bad fan films, like just the Snake Eyes, the Joe movies. They didn't look good. They didn't. I can't explain it, but they just didn't look good.
If you made a G.I. Joe movie where you're like, okay, we're making this movie about this fictitious like special mission force, and maybe it's a period piece, maybe it's not, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. Like the Expendables movies, they know what they are. Like, it's why I love Megaforce, because Megaforce knows what it is. You got Commander Ace Hunter, and you got like all these two-dimensional freaking characters, and only like 5 of them have lines, but Megaforce would beat the shit out of this G.I. Joe.
So Brandon R. makes a good point right there. And it's the same thing. It's the same problem I have with like the DCU movie verse. Yeah.
Oh, Mask of the Phantasm is the best Batman movie ever.
Keep it animated. They could animate a Joe movie. Hell, bring it to Netflix. I mean, some of the direct to Netflix animated series that are done now are great. Keep it like that. I mean, you could do more with it. I 100% would watch in the same way that I think the DC animated universe is a million times better than the movie verse.
Just Batman the animated series, the Superman, the Justice League Unlimited. I still watch those all the time.
I'll watch Justice League Unlimited and Justice League, like I'll watch it through maybe once every couple of years because it's some of the best storytelling out there.
Last week, I watched the series finale where Superman and Darkseid go at it, and Superman's like, I always feel like everything's tissue paper, but you can take it, and he just stomps the shit out of
when people tell me that they can't make a Superman movie interesting, I want to play that clip for them. Yep. That one section is probably some of the best comic book television that's ever been out. Well, when he's fighting Darkseid and he goes, I feel like I'm walking through a world made of paper, but you can take it, can't you, big man?
The very first episode of Justice League with the White Martians, where Batman goes to that observatory outside of Metropolis, and then Superman shows up. Like after Batman, like kind of got his ass beat, kind of beat everyone's ass, and he's like, "Oh, what's the matter? You got to go get another key to the city." Like that's the perfect relationship between those two.
Yep.
Zack Snyder should have watched that 2 minutes.
Yep.
Curb Stomp. Who are the villains for Expendables 4? I've only seen the trailers. I haven't really dove into that yet. Let me know.
Nobody cares. It's just going to be a whole bunch of shooting. And
dude, Mel Gibson was sweet in the third one, and then Van Damme. I just watched Expendables 2 the other day again. You talking to me?
Love Van Damme.
He's so good in that movie, man.
The JCVD is one of my favorite movies. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's a good movie.
Can any animated G.I. Joe movie top Resolute, though? That's like asking, can any Star Trek top Wrath of Khan? Because the guy who did Wrath of Khan, he only knew so much about Star Trek where he didn't color outside the lines. The dude who did Resolute, same. He only knew so much about G.I. Joe. And they were like, yeah, man, just do it. And he made the most badass Cobra Commander ever.
Yep. Agreed.
Where else are we?
Batman Beyond is awesome.
Whatever happened to the DC Black Hawk movie? Black Hawk? What are we talking about? Black Adam? Hawkman. Black Hawkman. I don't know.
All that stuff got shit canned when James Gunn is doing stuff now. I have high hopes for James Gunn. I honestly
I do not. Just because you can do a talking raccoon doesn't mean that you can translate that to Superman.
I just, like I said, based on, because
they need to go get fucking Richard Donner back. He's still alive. Go find Richard Donner.
I'm a Henry Cavill fan, and I think they really shit.
So
I think they shit on him, giving him bad script, but he would have been the perfect modern Superman. They need to just go watch Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. If they're going to do live action, just do that in live action and then go.
But he's doing what? Like fucking Monster Force, like right off the bat.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
An Amanda Waller movie, so he can put his wife in it. And then Jim Largo says, just give us Resolute as an ongoing series. Well, see, here's the thing about that, Jim, is that they could have, but after Resolute got such high praise from critics and all the fans, they just let it die because Hasbro.
Because dumbass.
I mean, who killed Joe Con? Hasbro. Who killed the real American hero? Hasbro. Who killed Resolute? Hasbro.
It was all in that time frame where they were trying to come up with their own studio, and it was all dumb. It was all dumb. They weren't making enough money on their own at it.
Yeah. Those are the bad guys. Okay, so I did see Tony Jaa in that that trailer. Very cool.
Good stuff. But Expendables, like going back on what you said,
look who finally shows up. What's up, Paul?
Paul.
I'm back, bitches.
That Hemsworth movie is a much better Joe movie than anything that's ever come out.
The Extraction movies are good. And they're stripped down, real simple stories, right?
You don't know how happy I was between John Wick and Extraction, watching someone handle a handgun properly, and I was like, it's about time. It's like there were so much little nitpicky things in there. I was just like, man, he did so good with that.
Keanu Reeves is a true gunfighter. Mm-hmm. He is freaking awesome. And Paul, man, I'm super glad you're back, dude. What happened to you was total bullshit. Did you see that they struck his channel down?
No. What happened?
Paul got his channel like completely wiped out. Something about I don't know. He can better explain it, but apparently they said he did something naughty that he didn't do, and so they just like handed God on him.
Oh, same thing happened to me on Instagram, so I can't monetize Instagram right now because I put a Snoop Dogg meme up. Yeah.
I mean, I finally just had 2 shorts that clocked 1 million views each. And
oh, wow.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pericles says, yes, I'm posting this quote again. Work with me and I will give you the world in less than 24 hours. Work against me and I will gut you like a fish. Yeah, it's so good. So good. Look at I'm keeping up with the chat like a good boy.
You're a pro.
Black Hawk is a World War II fighter squadron made up of countries that Germany took. No, I didn't hear about that. That's
I had never heard about that.
Did you hear that one of the Transformers movies was going to be a prequel set in World War II, and that's how they were going to tie in the Joes, and it was going to be Jetfire?
No, but I wouldn't want to see anything that they haven't made a good Transformers movie yet.
Battleship, the game, the movie, Hasbro movie making at its finest.
That is I'm going to say something right here. So Battleship is like a guilty pleasure movie for me.
Me too.
It really is. I hate to say it, but it really is. I know it's not good.
With the buoys and they started doing like B-12. I was like, oh, they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's not good. Don't get me wrong. I know it's not a good movie, but it is such a guilty pleasure movie for me.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with guilty pleasures. We've all got them, right? And hey, Jim, do me a favor. Let me know, man. Was Di Bonaventura, was he a producer on that? I bet you he was. But I kind of like.
Well, it was a Michael Bay movie, wasn't it? And then
Michael Bay explosion.
And then
I need to get that sound clip. Michael Bay presents Explosion.
Or was he just a producer on it? I think maybe Bay was a producer on it.
I don't know.
I can't remember. Doesn't matter.
Dude.
I don't care enough.
Yes, JLS, The Raid and The Raid 2 are fantastic movies. Look at even Fire Talk says, I love that stupid Battleship movie.
I know. I love it. It's fun.
Hey, I love Megaforce. I will watch Megaforce at the drop of a hat. I love it. I know some people say it sucks, but I think it's a freaking fantastic
I watch
movie.
a lot of shitty movies. I
don't think Megaforce is shitty.
No, I'm just saying I haven't seen that. But like I enjoy like the really bad sci-fi channel knockoff movies like Transmorphers. They're absolutely
Transformer.
I love those. Like the
eight-headed sharktopus.
Yeah, I love all those. They're so horrible.
Says, Battleship with Liam Neeson?
Actually.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons movie was fantastic. By the way.
You need to end this stream in under 20 minutes. That's an order.
You're not the boss. You're not the boss over here.
This I command.
You know what, Ryan? I keep looking up at the clock and I'm tracking that, and we will be done in time. So I love you, and shut your mouth.
Yeah, I'll be in the chat. I'm not doing any super chats on your channel, and it's not because I don't. No. Hear me out. It's because for the longest time, so he would come support my channel with a super chat. I would go support his channel with a super chat, and the only people winning was YouTube.
I know you're kidding, Ryan, but we will be done in time for your show. Absolutely. That's why I shouted your shit out, man.
YouTube takes so much of a cut of the super chats. We were losing money against each other.
Yeah. I have to. Megaforce is the best bad movie ever made. Yeah, but man, the action. It was directed by a stunt coordinator, and you can tell because the vehicle and the bike action in that movie it's first class. Anyone remember watching Battle Los Angeles?
Oh
Battle
yeah, I
Los Angeles.
LA. That was with
Aaron Eckhart.
Was it Aaron Eckhart? Was that not the
Yeah, he's Staff Sergeant Nance. Aaron Eckhart. That movie is no fucking joke, man. Like
that wasn't the John Travolta. What am I talking about? I'm thinking of the John Travolta one, that freaking Scientology.
Oh, yeah, that's
what was that?
Battlefield Earth.
That's what I was thinking.
L. Ron Hubbard book. No, fuck that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Battle Los Angeles. So here's a fun story, and we only have 17 minutes. Actually, 16 minutes and 50 seconds. Actually,
he's going to start giving you a nice
Angeles. I went and saw Battle Los Angeles with one of my peers. He's, I'm an E7 in the Army. He's an E7. We're both combat arms, both infantry guys. Different holes, same problems. He was in Iraq. I was in Afghanistan. He and I went and saw Battle Los Angeles together, and we both started having moments at like the same time while we were watching it. And I looked over at him and I was like, dude, this movie, it's kind of setting me off. And he's like, yeah, me too. Because like some of the combat, yeah, when you're in it with that shaky cam, I'm like,
gotta go.
Yeah. So in the theater, I had a little bit of I don't like to pick fun about it, but I had a moment.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's a fucking great movie. That speech that he gives at the end, about like Hector's father and this person, and this is how we honor them. And I'm like, fuck yeah, go get it. Yeah.
I love that. I love those moments in movies. I love them. My wife will laugh at me because like she watches like all these like real sensitive movies and gets all teary eyed. Like I'll watch something and I'm just like, I'm not getting choked up. You're getting choked up. Shut up. And it's just
you're crying, stupid. Yeah. So I'd like to thank our good friend Ryan White Potato Laser Pants for the $5 super chat. I still don't like you. Is that aimed at you or me?
Probably.
Or both of us. Both of us?
Yeah. He just threw two darts at once. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, Ryan, you can throw your dart at me whenever you want, baby.
He knows I love him.
That's right. Perfect.
I'll take that. I'll take that, Ryan Dart. Yeah, Battlefield Earth. That's right. Battleship film was directed by Peter Berg, no
Peter
Michael
Berg.
Bay or Lorenzo Di Buonaventura.
Peter Berg. See, I like Peter Berg movies. I tend to like Peter Berg stuff.
Okay, well, I actually like Battleship better than Rise of Cobra or Snake Eyes, so there you go.
Yeah.
And then Brandon R says, Battlefield Earth is the worst movie ever made, worse than Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
I don't know if you've not seen The Legend of Chun-Li Street Fighter, that's probably the worst movie, or Dragon Ball Z movie. Those are up there.
Why is everyone being mean to Ryan? Go to Ireland, they eat potatoes. I don't know.
Don't be mean to Ryan. We love
Ryan. All right, so what else you got? You got anything else?
Man, I think we covered it. I think I need to come over here more often and vent some more because
yeah, you do. You need to come hang out over here, man. Come on, hang out with me more.
Same way. You need to come over to the channel. I haven't done very many, like outside of the Animal Wars of the Kingdom stuff. I haven't done a lot of live streams lately, but I need to get back. For the longest time, I was doing like a presents type show where I bring people on and just talk about their channel and stuff. But I need to do some
Eternals is way worse than. But did you see Eternals?
I did.
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
No,
that was horrible. That was a really, really bad movie. And that was a very expensive bad movie.
Mega crap.
Yeah, that was a very expensive bad movie. They have no excuse.
Oh yeah, all their stuff is shit. So
but yes, Chronically Online. I meant the Dragon Ball live action movie. It was
yeah. Oh yeah, Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
I forgot they made that, and I was scrolling, because the smart TV thing, when you scroll through a smart TV and it says like, oh, these movies are available on these apps, and I was like, I forgot they made that. Piece of shit.
If you haven't seen Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, please do. It's so bad. It's like it's so bad. I think it makes Dragon Ball look good.
I tried to watch Sharknado. I tried.
I like movies that are bad on purpose. I can watch. I like those.
I think I just like something about it. I just couldn't do it. I was like,
oh, it's hard.
I will just watch Megaforce again. So you said you have a live stream coming up tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm having Ace from Ramen Toys coming on tomorrow to talk about about anything. We're gonna really, because the Marshall is going up for pre-order. We're gonna talk about that.
Oh yeah, the Marshall,
dude. That's
AKA.
It was
better
worth
than
the trip.
Star.
Yeah, it was worth the trip going to PowerCon to see 3030. The gray model 3030 beside the Marshall. It was so good. Oh yeah, that was so bad. I loved.
It wasn't even called
Airbender
Avatar,
cartoon.
right? It was just the Last Airbender because James
So,
Cameron already snatched up Avatar.
I was a big fan of the Last Airbender animated series. I think it was a really, really great show. But when me and a buddy of mine went to watch it because we were nerded out over the Last Airbender. And when they showed him on screen, the first thing they said was like, my name is Ong. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out. It's like, it's just, you can't even say his name right. Get out of here.
What the what'd you now everybody's just talking about like shitty movies and stuff.
That could be a whole other podcast right there.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, cool. So what time tomorrow is your show?
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern, because that will be 9 a.m. for Ace.
Well, cool. Very cool. Well,
so,
I will
9 o'clock p.m.
I will set a reminder and I will tune in, my friend. And
he's a good guy to talk to.
This is like no bullshit, right? All bullshit aside. So the original 87 Predator was kind of like a G.I. Joe movie. Yeah, it kind of was. I have to say that real quick. It should be all about Ace dropping the hint about the F-14. I didn't even see Necro Boogie come in, but anyway, thanks for being here. I have to say that to you and everybody in the chat, I can't thank you enough, because I don't want to say I've been burning out on live streams. I think I was burning out on like all the work that you have to do on the front end of a live stream. Like, oh, I got to go get all these images, and I got to build these slideshows, and I got to this, and I got to write fucking million notes. And I just wanted to like hang out, talk toys, talk indie lines, talk to shit that we love, and just hang out with people in the chat and just kind of see where it went. And I can't thank you, Kato, one, for us finally getting together and hanging out,
Yep.
And
100%.
everybody else in the chat just for being here and making it fun. So thank you for reinvigorating my joy of live streaming. So I really
I live for this. This is like whenever I live stream, I don't want to do anything. I just want to bullshit for an hour about whatever.
Yeah. I was gonna do a neon at night this past Sunday with Nick, and Nick and I both got busy, and I was just like, dude, I don't want to fucking spend half a day doing a slideshow.
Here's the thing. I said it a long time ago, and I fall back and forth on it every once in a while, but I don't want to make YouTube a job. Like I want to talk and no prep.
No prep, baby.
Knows. So we do
I wrote
the,
like
we do
3
the
notes. Yeah.
We do the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom podcast, and it's like we literally talk about 5 minutes beforehand for the most part. It's like, what are we going to talk about? We got this and this. Let's just see what happens in the chat. So
I love it. Yeah, Robert, I'll get you on for sure, dude. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I appreciate you inviting me on. Thank you again, and again to whom it may concern. Thanks for inadvertently getting us together for other reasons. So
yeah.
I apologize for not speaking to you or reaching out to you at Joe Fest. We just didn't. We don't know anybody, and I'm an introvert, so funnily enough,
and that's the thing. I kind of am too. As weird as that seems, like Will from Wilhelm Toys was here, and I don't know if Will's still here, but not this year, but last year, Will saw me and the ma'am in our finest costumes getting into an elevator and like took a picture of us, and I'm like, just chat with me or something. And then this year, like the amount of people coming up to me because my channel like went exponentially explosive. Over the past year, and it was cool, but it was awkward at the same time. And I'm very much a keep to myself kind of person, so it was a little weird. But
I got that a lot at PowerCon. I got, I guess I don't recognize. I didn't really. I had an AWOC shirt on, but a few people that recognized me. I was like, it's weird. I don't like it. But
yeah, I'll freaking hang out with anybody. But
yeah. That's kind of.
That being said, so every day at Joe Fest, people are like, is that your Chuckles? Is that your Chuckles outfit? And I'm like, do you never see what I wear? Like, it's not like I'm putting an outfit on, you dumbass. Anyway.
So I appreciate the invite. Thank you. And thanks for the chat, for keeping the conversation going. That makes or breaks a fun time is when the chat really gets involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Fire Talk says, start with a loose topic, then go off the rails for 4 hours on a 1 hour stream.
That's the other show I do with Inutopi is called Off the Rails for that very reason.
I have done that. I have done that too. I had HCC 788 Brian. I had him on it. We just like shot to shit for like 4 hours.
That's all I want to do, man. If you're looking on my channel for professionalism and scripts and professional editing, I'm not the guy. There's a lot of really cool people that are good at it. And I'm not downplaying the effort that they put into it, but I'm probably never going to be there.
Yeah,
I'm just going to talk about stuff I like.
Yeah, I just want it to be fun, and I like to stimulate conversation. And if I say something sucks, I'm going to say it sucks because that's just my opinion, right? And I'm never projecting that on other people. And then George says, Chad's actually a member of a unit called the Hawaiian Beach Commandos. Actually, on my last deployment in Africa, we would roll out combat pants, Hawaiian shirts, body armor. Swear to Christ. Anyway, so we're going to kill it. Everybody head on over to 3POA and
go watch 3POA.
Yeah, the usual suspects, our buddy Ryan and Jeremy. Kato, thank you so much. Everybody in the chat, thanks for hanging out. If you haven't checked out Kato's channel, all the links are in the description. Please go check it out. So
yeah, I would appreciate it. I'm almost at 9,000 subscribers. Y'all could help me out.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, boy. That's awesome. Fantastic. I'm almost at 2,000.
5 away. I'm only 5 away.
Yeah.
There's got to be 5 of you.
I don't talk classified.
There's got to be 5 of you fuckers out there that aren't subscribed to me.
Yeah, 5 of you go subscribe to Kato, you fuck. Anyway, later, brother.
Thanks a lot.